Okay, in this video we're going to take it one step further and we're going to see if we can actually add an increase and a decrease button and a reset button. We're also going to check this time around if we can do this all in one form. So what I've done now, I've created one form. It's still called count, and there's these actions: increase, decrease and reset. So what you will see at the moment, if I run this, is the code running. Yeah, it seems to be. If I click on decrease, reset, the app is stuck now. Let's just see what's happening. Control C. Let's run. Okay. Let's cancel. Let's just see if everything's fine. Okay, so now increase, decrease, reset, increase, decrease, reset. At the moment all the buttons is doing the same thing. So but what you can see, we're sending these actions to the form. If you go here, we are having this. So in here we have this coming in. So what we actually want to do now is we want to check. So we're going to have, at the moment we've got rec.body.action. So what we want to do is we want to check for each one, and then we want to increase and decrease the value. But what we also want to do now is we want to check whether we can actually use a factory function instead of individual values. So I've created this factory function that can increase and decrease the counter here, and then I want to use that in the session. I want to give each user their own counter to use. Okay, so what I want to do here is, instead of what I've done up until this point, I basically want to say, if you don't have a counter, I want to say I want to give you a new counter. So we want to give you a new counter factory function, and then what we want to do here is counter dot increase at this point. Let's first see if the factory function work, and then we're going to see whether we can get those individual buttons to work. The thing to note now is I haven't referenced the JavaScript, I think. No. Yes, so where's the issue? So I haven't imported the counter over here. Okay, so I need to say a const counter, and I need to say require, and I require dot slash counter. Okay, so we're gonna go here. So if we refresh, let's just see if that's working. Doesn't work. What's happening? Cannot find module counter. Oh, we called it probably lowercase counter, like this, counter, control R, something's still wrong. Oh, okay, I think the main problem is in my counter. I didn't actually export it, so I need to go here, and I need to go module dot export. Okay, so here we go. So if we do that now, let's see if that's okay. Control R, still something is not right. Cannot find module dot counter. Module not found. Waiting for changes. Cannot find module counter. So where did we do this? Let me just double check. It's sitting in the same level. Module dot exports function. We go here, require dot slash counter. Let's see, control C. Okay, the app is crashing still. Module dot exports. Module dot exports. Okay, so we have a function that we are exporting. Okay, so what's wrong here? Cannot find module counter. Module not found. UJ Express. Okay, I did a interesting thing here. let's just see, ls, where are we? Control C, ls. Okay, I did something very interesting. I'm not running it in the right place, am I? Or why can't I see it? Oh, I see this folder is not sitting inside of the right thing. Okay, it was not sitting at the right place. Okay, I was in a weird folder here. So it's sat outside. So let's run it now. So now everything is running fine. Okay, so don't worry about that. So now what we should see is that our counter should still work. So let's see if I go there and I say increase. Okay, so now I'm getting the objects. Okay, so there's some other weirdness there. So let's see. Okay, so first of all, when I was looking for it over here, we set the counter is equal to that. Counter, and then here what I wanted to say was this should have been res.session.counter.value. Okay, so let's see, Control R. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so in this case what I want to do is I want to check is res.counter there, then do that. Otherwise we want to say make it equal to this. Okay, sometimes the counter might not be set yet. If we do that, increase res.value is not a function. Res.counter.value. So what do we have in our counter? We have a value dot. So let's see. Okay. Where is this issue now? The issue comes in. So if we go back here, go back here, go back here, refresh, res.session.counter.value, so line 28. Where's line 28? Line 28, where's? What is happening here? Res dot, so it's increase, and then we are saying that we are having just see what we are getting from rec.session. Okay, interesting. So counter is blank. So you put the counter in, that kind of works. But counter in, Okay, so we need to store the counter value in the session. Then we'll have to reinitialize it. So in this case, we want to say counter. And in this point, we want to say give me the counter or give me the value. Okay. So for us to use this session here, it's a bit cumbersome to be honest. So we'll need to do this, put the counter here, make that work. And then what we will need to store in the session is we will have to say after we've done this, we would have to say, let me just see how we approach this. Okay, so what we want to do here is, okay, so I'm going to say here rec.session.value. So if it's not there, I am going to actually so we basically, if we want to use a factory function here, you'll have to store the value in the session and then feed that value to the factory function. So here what I'm going to do, I'm going to say let counter equal null. So that's null for now. Then what I'm doing is I am saying, okay, so if there's no value in the session, we're actually going to set, okay, make the value in the session equal to rec.session.value. We're going to make it equal to 0. Okay, and that's probably the best. I'm going to move this one down, and then I'm going to say counter is counter. The counter is actually working with the new value from the session rec.session.value. Okay, so that's good. Rec.value.session. So now we're gonna basically do the counter dot increase. Okay, and then what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna store the new value in the session. Okay, and then we redirect request.session.value, and then here we're gonna say counter dot value. Okay, so we're going to do that, and then over here where we are displaying the counter, we are going to say request dot session dot value. Value is our counter. So now we're going to do something like this, value. So we're going to say the value is there, use that, and then we have counter increase counter value. Okay, so this is kind of what we want to do. Not great, but let's see. Is this running? Where is it crashing? Counter has already been defined. JS line 3. So where is this counter? This is counter.js line 3. Okay, so just say param, and then we just say here we do it like this, param. Okay, so now we go here, we control R. Okay, if we say increase, okay, the value increase is fine. Okay, so what we want to do now is we want to add a button for decrease to work. So our factory function is currently it doesn't know anything about those values. So what I want to do now is I want to check here. So in this case, so the action is a value you want to check. So we want to say if, so I'm going to say a const action. I can use destructuring here, action, and then I say rec.body. What I'm saying here is out of this body get me the action, and then I say if the action, then I say if action is equal to, let's just look at the values we have in here. We've got increase, decrease, and reset. Okay, so we've got increase, and then we have else if action is decrease. Okay, decrease, decrease, and then we have else if, and then we're gonna have action equals reset. Okay, so let's have a look. Okay, so now increase is gonna go up here. Okay, so that's on my factory function. So now I'm doing this. So this one here is gonna be decrease, and this one here is gonna be reset. Okay, then after we've done all these values, we store the new value of the counter inside of the session, and that's only to be displayed up here. Okay, and then we read it back out of a session, we put it back into our factory function, and then everything works fine. So let's see if that works. Increase, decrease, increase, decrease. Okay, so we see there's a bit of a problem resetting. The resetting isn't working. I need to figure out why. Oh, okay, so it's here. I'm not calling the right method. I'm not calling reset over here. So let's have a look. Refresh. We run that. Decrease. Reset. Oh, reset is not a function. So let's look at what we have here. So we don't have a reset function here. So what do we actually want to do? So in this case, we basically want to make sure that we have a reset function in our factory function. So we have reset, okay, and then in that case I need to make sure that I have counter equal to 0, okay, and then what we need to do here is we need to have reset over here. The other thing we want to do is we don't want to decrease less than 0, okay. So what I want to do here is I want to say if counter greater than 0, okay, only then we want to actually decrease, otherwise we don't want to do anything. Okay, let's have a look. Refresh. Okay, let's go back. Increase, decrease, doesn't go lower. Increase, decrease, reset works. Let's see why it works with others. So if I go refresh here, I say increase, I say decrease, increase. Okay, let's go higher and higher. Okay, let's refresh. Okay, so that doesn't affect each other. They're still all using the session. So if I go here and I say increase, I refresh here. Okay, increase, decrease, and it doesn't go less than lower. Okay, so that is still working with sessions. In this case, we had a bit of an issue because a factory function, we can't store it inside of the session, but we were able to store the actual value in the session. Then we feed that into our factory function, and our factory function do all the work for us, and then we store the value back into the session, and then everything works. So that's kind of showing you how to use a factory function with HTTP session. So yeah, so that is kind of a little adventure we went on to, showing you how to use one form. In this case we had different submit with different names, and then we can pass that in. Then in the root we can see which button has been pressed. So yeah, so that is yeah, that shows you how that can be done. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that and you learned a few things. So all the best.